All right, my friends, so I've been doing financial planning. Let's see, I started my career at Vanguard in April of 1998. So I've been doing financial planning for, what's that, 2021, October minus April 1998. I've talked to thousands of people. I'm telling you, man, I get a lot of people who argue with me about, I could do this better, I could do that better. I get that. I'm not shooting for better. I'm shooting for simplicity and success. And success, ooh, horsies. Nay! I smell some horsies. You gotta smell that horse poop. Where are they? Some of these people out here in this part of the neighborhood have some nice horse barn. I love horsies. Horsies are like jacked. You know what I'm saying? They just got muscles coming out of muscles. Freaking beautiful animals. Oh my goodness, the idea that we share a lineage with those guys, niet. All right, so anyway, it's funny because I talk to people I almost feel like I'm a doctor, and I hate this terminology. I'm a doctor of money or a doctor of retirement. That's what some fools do, like, I'm like your doctor. I hate that crap. But with that said, a doctor who's been around for a while will see some things on a routine basis and say, hey, if you continue to eat that crap, you're going to get fat, you'll get high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, and you'll have a heart attack or stroke. I know this. But doctor, I was able to eat it when I was 20. Yeah, you're not 20 anymore. That's why old Josh is going for a walk. Trying to get my high blood pressure. I got high blood pressure. It's like, was it 140 over 85? And I'm not too worried about it. I'm just cutting back on caffeine, A. I just got to walk more, B. I used to watch the sugar I put in my belly, C. It's a continuous battle for your old buddy Josh. Because I love sugar and I love coffee. So I'm going on this Tully's decaf. Oh, dark roast, it's fantastic, man. I'll put a link in the show notes if I think about it. Because it's fantastic. If you want some decaf, the best decaf, because most decaf, every single decaf I've ever had sucks. This Tully's tastes like dark roast, like French roast. It's fantastic. It's not that expensive. I love it. So I'm trying to watch my blood pressure. And don't just go to the doctor and they take one thing and here's some blood pressure pills. That's just freaking dumb, man. You need to get a bunch of different readings. Get you one of those blood pressure machines. I got one in my house. And I did it 4 times yesterday, and every time I did it, my blood pressure went down. So who knows what the average was? I think it was like I said, 138 over 85 or something like that. Anyway, so I feel like a doctor. Doctor says, look, dude, you got to cut back on this crap you're putting in your body. You got to go for a walk. You got to get some better night's sleep. And the guy says, but doc, I didn't have to do that when I was 20. The guy's like, yeah, because you're freaking 51, Josh. Get your ass out there. You see what I'm saying? That's what I kind of feel like I'm dealing with. But when I was 45, my S&P 500 kicked butt and took names, or my Tesla stock, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you're not 45. You're 58. You're 2 years out from retirement, man. And I was like, were you able to, what'd you do in 2008? I hang in there. Yeah. You know why? Because you weren't retired. You were still working. You still had that petty state check coming in. Ay. And so you weren't needing to pull money or intending to pull money from your portfolio because you knew you still had job, income. If you got laid off, your house is less than, you're underwater in your house, and your portfolio is down 54%, that's a whole different ballgame. But that wasn't that typical, frankly. And that was a very unusual circumstance. And one, if you ask me, was well worth the risk of being fully invested in the markets when you're in your accumulation stage. Because those 3 things, triple witching hours, we used to call it option trading. I'm sure they still do. That's triple witching hour. Not likely to happen, but it did. But that was the black swan, as Nassim Nicholas Taleb talks about. How do you prepare for a black swan? You can't, because you don't know. They're unpreparable, if that makes sense. So anyway, you say, okay, I'm going to plug along. But now you're 58, 2 years away from retirement, even if not sooner because of jabba. You're like, dude, I gotta get the hell out of here. You're no longer that 40-year-old guy plugging money in for another 15 years. That's not you anymore. And I'm just telling you, man, am I talking to thousands and thousands of people? I'm just telling you right now, one thing reigns supreme, or rings true, whatever. It's like a broken record. I feel like a doctor saying, don't eat crap and go for a walk and get some sleep. And don't eat crap, go for a walk and get some sleep. So for you, my friends, have no debt, have some cash, and watch your cash flow, your expenditures. And the funny thing is, as you start getting older, you recognize you don't spend as much as you thought you would. Not everybody. I get clients who are like, dude, I put 4 kids through school. I've done this, I've done that. I want to party like it's 1999. It's great if they can afford it. If you got tons of debt, you're leveraged to the hilt, and you're relying on your portfolio to provide you that kind of spending money, that's a scary situation if you ask me. But if your money's sitting in a moderately conservative portfolio, Wellesley, Wellington, you got no debt, you're watching your cash flow. I just talked to these people just yesterday up here in North Georgia. Great people, man. It's the same flipping story every time. Cars are paid off, house is paid off. You know, house is worth $250. Cars, I don't know, got 40,000 miles on it. They don't need anything fancy. They want to go on vacation every now and again, see the grandkids. Nothing fancy. Just like most people, man. Don't spend that much. The Social Security alone is going to cover the bulk of their needs, if not all of them. And I don't think they had a pension. But it always comes down to their cash outflow is minimized because they have no big debt payments. And I get it. People will say, argue with me, well, I'm only paying 3.2% of my mortgage, because I did a video the other day of why I put $70,000 against my mortgage instead of holding this cash. And some people say, hey, I get it. You can do whatever you want with your money. They say, you're only paying 3.25%. I think I can do better than that. I completely think that's the wrong approach. Do better? In what regard? 10 years from now? I mean, could you do better at 3.2? Maybe, probably. When? 10 years from now. What if you don't? What if you don't do better? What if you do worse? You know, just the whole thing about do better, I'm like, but you still have this debt. And like I said in my email, so if you're not on my email, there's a link right underneath in the show notes that says sign up for my email list. And if you sign up for my email list, I email. Not very often. Just FYI. And don't, you send the spammy content. Every time I send an email, I get like 1 or 2 people. Spammy content. I'm like, well, why'd you sign up, dude? It's weird. I mean, it says very explicitly, you receive emails from me. I don't get it, man. I could not be clearer. I don't have any bait and switch. I don't want you. It costs me money to keep an email list. If you don't want to be on my email list, don't. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. So I like when people get off, they don't want to be there, but why are you there to begin with? Anyway, point being is, you got, so some people say, well, you know, I could do better than that. I'm like, you could, that's right. You probably will. I don't know though. What if you don't? And I do know that if I don't have to pay a mortgage, a car loan, student loans, man, I can live awful cheap. And you can too if you don't have that debt. I'm just telling you, man. For me, not having the debt is more important than any hypothetical. But Josh, that $70,000, if you invest in the market, you know, we'll just say that could be worth $140,000 10 years from now. Yeah, that's true. I have to pay long-term capital gain on the 140 because that was in a brokerage account or ordinary income if it's an IRA. Obviously, if you take it out from your IRA, you got to pay ordinary income anyway to pay off the mortgage, but be it as it may. And I'm just like, yeah, could be worth 140. How much interest did it cost me that time? Well, cost me, we'll just say 3.2, probably not fully, but we'll just say 3.2, all right? So 3.2 on 70,000 bucks, was that 6,000 a year? No, 3.2, that'd be on 100,000 bucks, would be 3,000 a year. On 70,000 bucks, 2,100 bucks a year. 10 years, cost me 21,000 in interest. Plus the amount of money I had to pay back to myself, because I still had to come up with the investment, that's the income to pay off the loan. Even if it's a principal payback, I still obligated to pay the bank, even if it's not interest, it's principal. And principal still cost me money out of pocket because the bank loaned me that money. So even if you got a 0% interest rate, you're still paying the bank back, because while you're paying your principal back, all that means is you're paying the loan back without interest, but you still owe somebody else. So my experience, and maybe it's because my personality attracts a certain level of people, but you know, I've been in this business a long time. Dealt with a lot of people, call centers, people assigned to me, things of that nature. I haven't had, other than the last 4 years, the ability to pick and choose my clients, or the ability to be an independent purveyor of financial planning smarts, if you will. It's just always the same story. Now, I'll say this till I'm blue in my face. You got no debt. Amazing how you can get by on a whole heck of a lot less income. It's just that simple. All right. But if you're thought, look, this is not a challenge that my way is right. If you're risk averse, as I am, remember, I'm from Maine. In Maine, there's a nor'easter. I'm from an island in Maine, all right? An island. You don't just pick up your car and go to the grocery. So maybe it's just a nature that I try to be prepared for bad things, which means I might leave some money on the table. Yeah. That's what a prep is about. You're prepping to ensure that you have resiliency when things go south. Now that also means you might leave some money on the table because you've bought food to the store that you could have consumed or could have invested. I mean, I don't know. There's all kinds of different things that can come with being prepared in terms of what's called opportunity cost. But man, again, it might just be me. Maybe it's my human nature. I'm just naturally I don't want to say a worrier, but what are the things that could haunt me that I wish I did not do, or I wish I would have done? And that's something I'm always thinking about. All right, love your thoughts. We'll see you.